What if the advice you've trusted for years is the very thing keeping you stuck when it comes to attraction, connection, and self-respect? Most people never question the rules they inherited. They assume that if they are kind enough, patient enough, generous enough, everything will eventually work out. Yet countless men follow that formula and still end up confused when the outcome doesn't match the effort. And the reason is more surprising than most expect. If you've ever invested your time, attention, and energy into someone only to watch the connection fade, stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll see a pattern that changes the way you view relationships and your own value. Section 1. The hidden reality. Many men think attraction begins with behavior. They believe it comes from being dependable, considerate, available, and consistently supportive. Those qualities matter. They absolutely have a place, but they are rarely the starting point. Attraction is often shaped less by what you provide and more by the emotional experience people associate with you. Think about it. Two people can offer similar treatment. One is appreciated, the other becomes unforgettable. Why does that happen? Because emotions leave a deeper imprint than actions alone. A person may forget specific conversations. They may forget details, yet they often remember how they felt in your presence. People remember feelings long after they forget words, and that insight leads directly to the mistake many good men make. Section 2. The trap of over-investing. Ironically, the men who struggle most are often the ones with good intentions. They care deeply. They try harder. They want to avoid mistakes. So when interest seems uncertain, they increase effort. More messages, more attention, more availability, more sacrifices. They assume that demonstrating greater commitment will automatically create greater attraction. But relationships don't always respond that way. When everything is given immediately, there is often no mystery, no challenge, and no sense of discovery. The connection begins feeling predictable. Then confusion appears. You wonder why your effort isn't producing the result you expected. You ask yourself whether you should do even more. Yet doing more is often what created the problem. The solution is not becoming colder. It's understanding what truly creates genuine attraction. Section 3. 3 foundations that matter. So what actually makes someone compelling? Let's break it down. First, direction. A person with purpose carries a different energy. Not because they are trying to impress anyone, not because they are seeking approval, but because they are building something meaningful. Whether it's a mission, a career, a business, a craft, or personal growth. Purpose creates momentum, and momentum is attractive. Second, emotional control. This doesn't mean becoming distant. It doesn't mean suppressing feelings. It means remaining steady when circumstances become difficult. When tension rises, you stay composed. When uncertainty appears, you stay clear-headed. When emotions intensify, you avoid impulsive reactions. That level of stability communicates strength without needing an announcement. Most people say they want confidence, but few understand where confidence actually comes from. It comes from self-trust. Which brings us to the third foundation, self-respect. You stop chasing validation. You stop begging for attention. You stop abandoning your standards simply to keep someone interested. You recognize your worth without requiring constant confirmation. And when self-respect becomes visible, people notice it naturally. Section 4. Understanding mixed signals. Now let's address something that frustrates many people. Mixed signals. One day enthusiasm, the next day distance, 1 week excitement, the next week uncertainty. At first glance, it seems irrational, but often there is something deeper happening. People evaluate relationships through both logic and emotion. Logic may say, this person is reliable. This person is responsible. This person treats me well. Yet emotions ask a different question. Do I feel a meaningful connection? If the emotional side remains unconvinced, inconsistency can appear. That doesn't automatically mean manipulation. It doesn't automatically mean bad intentions. Sometimes it simply means internal uncertainty. Have you ever known something made sense on paper but still felt unsure about it emotionally? Most people have. Once you understand that distinction, you stop taking every signal personally. You begin observing patterns instead of chasing explanations. Section 5. the perspective shift. This is where real transformation begins. Many people spend years asking one question: how can I get chosen? But a stronger question exists: is this actually right for me? That shift changes everything. Instead of performing for approval, you start evaluating compatibility. Instead of seeking validation, you develop standards. Instead of obsessing over outcomes, you focus on growth. Person walking towards sunrise. Ironically, this mindset often makes you more attractive. Not because it is a strategy, not because it is a trick, because neediness decreases and authenticity increases. Desperation repels. Self-respect attracts. And there is another truth most people overlook. Section 6. Understanding fear. Many assume the other person has all the power, but everyone carries fears. Fear of rejection, fear of wasting time, fear of making the wrong choice, fear of being hurt. These concerns influence decisions more than people realize. So when someone hesitates, withdraws, or seems uncertain, it isn't always a calculated move. Sometimes it's simply human doubt. Recognizing this creates maturity. You stop reacting impulsively. You stop inventing dramatic stories. You respond with patience and perspective. How many misunderstandings would disappear if people remembered that everyone carries invisible fears? Quite a few, which leads to the most practical part of today's conversation. Section 7. Changes you can apply immediately. Build a life that remains meaningful regardless of relationship status. Develop goals. Create routines. Invest in growth. Strengthen friendships. Protect your health. Expand your skills. Do these things because they improve your life, not because they impress someone else. Next, reduce unnecessary explanations. You do not need universal approval. You do not need everyone to understand every decision. Confidence often speaks through consistency rather than lengthy justifications. Third, become comfortable with loss. Not every connection is meant to continue. Not every opportunity is meant to stay. The fear of losing people can cause you to lose yourself. Protecting your identity matters more than preserving every relationship. Finally, take responsibility for your emotional state. No individual should become your entire source of happiness. No relationship should replace your purpose. No connection should become your identity. People can enrich your life. They should not become the foundation of it. And this final reminder may be the most important one. This message is not about becoming detached. It is not about manipulation. It is not about games. It is about becoming someone you genuinely admire when nobody is watching. Because personal respect changes decisions. It changes boundaries. It changes standards. It changes the energy you bring into every interaction. And when that happens, people respond differently. Not because you forced a reaction, because you became different. If something in this video resonated with you, pay attention to that feeling. Growth often begins with awareness. And if you want more practical insights like this, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Learnify. Remember this, you do not create value by proving yourself endlessly. You create value by becoming a person who knows their worth. Stay focused on that, and the rest becomes much clearer.